Welcome back to Founders in the Field, the show where we go behind the scenes with agency leaders, consultants, and creative founders to show you how they're building, scaling, and staying sane in the trenches. I'm your host, Stefan Bradley, and today's guest is Ahmed Nayani, founder and CEO of Hoop Desk. How are you doing, Ahmed?
I'm doing pretty well, my friend. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I appreciate you coming on. Let's
Absolutely. Why not?
dive straight in. For people who don't know your story, take us right back to the start of your journey and what made you start your own business, and give us an overview of what your role looks like today inside Hoop Desk.
Excellent. Well, the most important part of my story that I always resonate to, and I still do to this day, is I'm an immigrant to Canada, right? So that's there's a whole lot of us who came here lots of years ago and built something out of our part that we played in the Canadian society. So yeah, I came to Canada about 16 years ago, right? I came in as a student, graduated. Right when I was graduating, I started selling hot dogs, it was always in me. So that hot dog story or that effort led me to understand how to be in the trenches and how to give a start to something that can build into whatever you want it to build a bit. And fast forward to life, I got into digital marketing about 12 years ago when a lot of people were still figuring out what's good and what's not and so on and so forth. And one of the things that kept me in the light was the franchise space, because it was pretty common and uncommon at the same time. Because if you look around you, everywhere you go, if you're in a mall, you're in, shopping plazas, anywhere you are online, it's all franchise. So that kind of really interested me in that industry. Said, okay, well, I am in digital marketing, which, you know, we, I worked through a few clients, different industries, education, childcare, trades, this and that. But it always dawned on me that, you know what, franchise space is huge because everywhere it is, left and right, you see it, but you don't see it. You know what I mean? So you're a consumer, but you're really not thinking. So that got me into the franchising space. And since then, I mean, we started Hoop Desk. When I say we, me and my partner, we started Hoop Desk out of nothing. It's like, okay, well, we're going to be franchise marketers for franchisors across Canada and US. And slowly and gradually, turning the wheel, the same hot dog strategy. You have one cart, you go from one cart to another, find a location, put your new cart in, sell more hot dogs. Same thing. Put your foot in their door and do exactly what you're doing. Try to understand the clients, understand what they need, and then come back with a very, very reasonable solution. So that's what we did. Simple plan, nothing out of the ordinary. Fast forward 2025 now, end of 2025. Can't believe the year's ending.
Right.
We have served over 500 franchise concepts across US and Canada, some international as well. And we're still chipping in. We're still doing our work and keeping ourselves out there.
Incredible story to start with hot dog stands to then go into franchises. It sort of like led you down that path, even though you went through other things first, going back to the original idea, looking at hot dogs, and then the way you've gone into franchises.
Yeah.
What type of franchises do you serve? Is it like a varied thing?
I mean, franchise industry is dominated by QSR, quick service restaurants. So, if you work with, let's say, 50 franchise concepts, about 40 of them are food based or food and beverage based or coffee based. They're all part of the same. So I mean, we organically we work in that industry more than other industries, but we serve franchisors typically in any industry. Trades is a good one. Healthcare is amazing. Education for kids. I think that's a pretty up and coming and very lucrative industry to be in. So if you've got the wits and if you've got the experience and you love kids, that's one of the industries that is really up and coming.
I only ask because that's what my preconception of franchises would be, more food and beverage and things like that. And the fact that you started sort of doing, a food stand, you know what I mean, to go into that, it's just kind of like, it definitely led you down that path. And also, what it takes to start that up because you've been there and done it. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So it definitely it put you in good stead for what you're doing, even though probably when you were running the stand, you probably wasn't thinking this far ahead. So It's crazy how things that we do at the start that we don't know where it's going to lead us, but actually it's the building blocks, it's the actually foundation for our future self and what it's going to do.
Right on, exactly. I agree with you.
So what does your role look like today inside Hoop Desk?
So, well, now like we have a bigger team now. We're a team of 35. And I started with just me and my partner. So the role looked very different back then because you're doing everything from marketing to client acquisition to managing clients and doing all sorts of things. We immediately were able to get a small team. So we knew that we can't do everything. And we don't pretend to do everything either, right? The things that we're good at, we're good at. The things that we're not good at, we we learned it sooner than later that we need better people in order to provide better service at the end of it. So, I mean, fast forward today, my role is mostly working with franchisors. So my job is to understand what their franchise concept is about and how we can help grow their franchise as well as help franchisees grow in their investment and time. So it's so we're not playing devil's advocate for either or. Our job predominantly is to make sure that we're working with the right fit. So if you are a franchisee that has the kind of experience that a franchisor needs, and if you sort of qualify, and same with the franchisors, if the concept is good enough, we know that it's their systems are great, their training is amazing, they've got excellent suppliers, vendors, things like that. So my most of my time goes in these engagements now.
So is that for clients that you've already got, or is that for clients that you're looking to get as well to match them together?
So it's an ongoing process. So we've got clients that we're already helping grow, and
Yeah.
then we're getting new clients all the time. So those assessments keep going on. So if we get to work with a new concept, then that's where I like to assess, how good is the concept, and
Right.
if we can really represent them, right? So if they have the merit to do so, then we go about that. Same with the franchisee. We get a lot of people who qualify and who are good, who could be really good operators, and some we talk to that we think that need more time or more work in order to be ready to get into the franchising space. So
Mhm.
yeah, that's a ongoing thing.
So it's high value. You're in the high value end of it, and you're managing your client relations, and also looking to how they can scale, I suppose, and do and have new opportunities and things like that. So you've gone from being doing in the weeds at the start to now sort of at the top where you hire for the roles that you don't want to spend your time doing, and you focus on the more higher value.
Most definitely. I mean, that's where I get more bang for the buck for my own time. And also that's where my experience is, working with multiple different types of franchisors and franchise concepts. Like they're very different when you see inside, like one QSR versus another QSR. They're probably selling chicken, they're probably selling milkshakes. But inside of it, their systems may be completely opposite, right? And
Right.
they would have their own merit to it. So that's where my expertise lies. And I like to stay in my lane. I've got a
Right.
beautiful, amazing team that does what they do in terms of marketing, in terms of lead gen, in terms of working with franchisees, working with even franchisors on the development side of things. So yeah, so it keeps me at bay where I am mostly engaging with clients and on both sides as a franchisee and franchisor.
So, Ahmed, what are the biggest trends that you're seeing inside the franchisee market?
So there are many trends that are going on. Well, I want to talk about the trends that are sort of becoming a challenge for franchisors to grow. Now, there are franchisors out there, and some of the big names that we're seeing lately struggling with growth, struggling with like their local sales. So their restaurants are not doing well, or their locations or their operators not doing well. I think the biggest challenge out there for franchisors is adapting automation and AI. They're not. I mean, especially in the Canadian space, it's becoming more of a conversation to look into, but there's a dire need over and above automation and AI. I mean, when I say automation, I'm talking more in the sense of having those systems in place that can enable your franchisee to grow and feel supported and also help you with your marketing growth. So every franchisor, has to make an effort to ensure that their franchisee is doing really well in their location. right? At a local level. At the corporate level, if you have 100 locations, you still have the same problem to look at and solve it efficiently. Many franchisors haven't looked at that from a grander lens yet, and that's where we're educating them. We're trying to make them understand that the metrics have changed and the buyer behavior has changed. The amount of buying that's happening on a daily basis for you to even buy your bubble tea or your coffee or your sandwich, it's not like how it used to be 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years ago. Especially post COVID, things have changed. Personally, like I order my coffee on my app so that I don't have to wait in line for anybody, right? So when I show up there, my coffee is ready. That's it. Simple as that. Now, that little function here, this type of automation needs a process change. So I educate them about that process change because most of them don't understand it. Some people have come to like they feel that the growth part was that now I sell my food online. So I've already arrived. No, you haven't. 80% of them are losing money to third-party delivery apps. And that's another big challenge. At volume, at 600 locations, that volume is huge. 30% of profits going to your delivery apps. That's huge. And now they're recognizing it that, oh my goodness, why didn't we do it why didn't we build our own system? Why don't I have my own AI system? Why am I not redirecting my customers, my recurring customers, those are the important ones, recurring customers to come into my system in a way that if your food is good, all you need to do is give them better process for them to keep coming again. Right? Starbucks does a great job at it, right? Whether you like their food or coffee or not, whether you find it pricey or cheap, whatever your mindset is about Starbucks, they are a perfect technology company in the food space, right? So many are actually now seeing that as a challenge and looking to drive their sales, drive their management teams into that direction. And that's where we come in. A lot of franchisors lately I've been talking to is like, okay, how can you automate my sales at a local level? And how can you find me franchisees who are good, who could be good operators, who've got the money that we need, or we've got the experience that we need? And a lot of that has to do with the systems that we have built, the marketing automation systems, the qualification systems. We use AI a lot. We also use CRM automation systems. And sometimes when I talk to clients, they're like, sign me up. How do I get access to that? Like, well, let's see how your process works and let's bring it where exactly it needs to be in. That's one of the challenges. I think another big challenge I find in the franchising space in general is adaptability. So adaptability in acknowledging the fact that you yourself cannot grow the franchise anymore. So I think 3 years ago, or let's say 5 years ago, roughly, some brands sell themselves, right? McDonald's sells itself. There's still a line. They don't even need a franchise sales team. Tim Hortons, they don't need it. But now things are changing. Things are changing because buyers are finding same USPs or better in emerging brands, right? So buyers are okay to have less ROI per location and they can easily do the math. So if I buy an emerging franchise, the franchisor is committed, right? They're fully invested in me. Then if I want to meet the ROI for McDonald's, I could just go one good emerging brand. In 3 years, I could have 4 of those. My ROI matches with one McDonald's owner who is now at a higher risk than me. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's happening a lot. So a lot of franchisors are not really, they are understanding that, all the big names, now they're really starting to, their wheels are turning too. They're starting to think the buyer behavior is changing, because one great thing that came out of COVID is an extreme love and passion for entrepreneurship. It's grown like crazy. It's a good plague to have. It's a great disease to have, and I want to be sick all the time with this disease. So what can you expect? Like, not many entrepreneurs have the wits to start a business from scratch, learn accounting, learn taxation, fall down 10 different times, and then wake up, like get up from it, A lot of people don't have the appetite for fumbles, and a lot of people don't intellectually need to go through those fumbles, because there is opportunity in buying a business such as franchise. You could do that. And many of them have, like some very smart investors globally have created significant success for themselves and operators and their teams. So people are recognizing that, hey, I don't need to reinvent the wheel. I just need to find a good wheel that fits and works. So that's another trend that I think franchisors are adapting to, especially the bigger groups.
So going back to what you said about AI automations with the franchise brands as well, I think a lot of people think with AI, they think of it as this magic and scary thing, but actually automations is such a big part of it's like a two-sided sword, if you know what I mean. But the automation side of it, just getting things through a system, the process through to the next thing, to the next thing. It's not too hard to like imagine why that would be beneficial. But also it's not like, oh, it's AI magic. No, it just sends it through the system to the next thing and it floods the customer experience. So like you said, if you're already providing good food, drinks, whatever you're selling, all there is to do then is to flood them, make the customer experience better and better and better. Do you know what I mean? And then you're going to get repeat custom, repeat custom, repeat custom, because you're not only serving them what they want is in good food, but they're leaving feeling satisfied from the service that you've provided as well.
You said it beautifully. That's exactly the case. That's the reason why McDonald's sells their coffee for $1. There was a consumer for that. And
Mhm.
Starbucks sells their coffee for $4, $5, and there's a consumer for that. It's
Yeah.
all in the process. It's all in
Mhm.
the systems.
Like you said, things buying habits are changing. Like you said, then you order your coffee to go pick it up, and this is only at the start of this AI sort of revolution. This is just the start of it, where it's going to go. The trend will, I think, continue to go down that type of route, and the will change, and they will adapt to the new technology. Because even if a lot of people don't like change. There's a lot of people that actually really like change. Do you know what I mean? They really like to optimize their experience and optimize the way they buy things because it makes their life perceivably easier.
Absolutely. 100%. The things that you have on you and on me right now,
Mhm.
maybe my hat, maybe your headphones, maybe the shirt you're wearing, the watch I'm wearing, 50% of it's probably purchased online, right? Why? Because of convenience. Simple
Yeah.
as that. Because buyers now trust. It's been there for a long time, but now we're adamant on, like, now we're expecting better service even in the online space, right? So
Amazon, if you order something from Amazon and it doesn't come the next day, you're like, "Where's my Amazon order?"
you're
Whereas
pissed.
before, yeah, exactly. Whereas before, that was unheard of to get something 12 hours later after you order it. But once somebody provides a service like that, it becomes you want it like that all the time. You expect it. Your expectations go up of that service, and that service being for this example is online. And then when you order from other people and it takes like 3 to 5 days, you're there like, how are you taking 3 to 5 days to
Yeah.
deliver me this? Because Amazon have set the bar so high, and it'll be the same in the space that in the franchise space. The more consumers that go to places that have automations in place, when they do go to a place that doesn't have automations in place, they'll be like, why doesn't this have it like this? Because I'm
Exactly.
so used to having this customer experience with X, Y, and Z brand. I've come to your brand and I'm not getting this customer experience.
Exactly. Why aren't you reminding me that I love the shawarma that I ate the other day? Why aren't you
Yeah.
reminding me? Uber does it. So
Mm.
Uber's doing it, but you as the brand, you're the guy selling the food, right? Same with coffee.
Um,
Why aren't you reminding me that it's time for my coffee? Many times it's a buying impulse, and the buying impulse is all about that convenience piece that, oh yeah, sometimes like I can't remember that sandwich was so good. I don't remember what it was. Well, what if 2 days later, after that sandwich was eaten or ordered, your app reminded them that, hey, how was your ham sandwich? Would you like to order it for 20% discount? It's like, hey, you know what? I'm not hungry, but now I'm hungry.
yeah.
So I hear you. You absolutely on the right path. And the impact that little buyer behavior that makes throughout your food chain, throughout your service chain, it's huge. It's humongous.
Also, I want to touch on what you said about as you're a marketing agency, then clients see your automations and see how you're doing things and are like, hey, how do I get that for myself? I see that as like a growing trend with across a lot of different B2B spaces. If you're adopting AI, it's very easy then for you to then show your clients how to adopt AI. And then it's like another revenue stream that you're opening up as well.
Absolutely, man. I think one of the biggest conceptions out there is AI is equal to ChatGPT. That's it.
Yeah.
When you get out of that space and you look at AI as a solution, oh my goodness, there's so many solutions out there which are awesome. And ChatGPT is a research tool, which is great for what it does. But then, I mean, you put together your website. By the time you're You're figuring out how your website should work, how your socials should work, how your engagement should work. Like you and I, we booked a meeting. A lot of it, if you put everything in a seamless aspect of things, you can't ignore AI. And if you're still doing it, good luck in the next 2 years, my friend. You'll have to come around sooner than later.
Yeah, stitching all your process together inside a seamless workflow. So it's AI kind of just, it's like, it's like a manager that just looks over and makes sure that that's connected, that's going through to that, that's going through to that. And it's a seamless, I call it like a nervous system. So, if something dings over there, then over here knows about it and knows that it's coming through. And I feel like once you stitch your, like, it's very simple, like aspect of it as well. Do you mean just stitching your processes, your socials to your website to this
Yeah.
all through together? So to your email marketing, do you know what I mean? All together. So you've already got them there 9 times out of 10 in this day and age, but just the value in stitching it all together inside a workflow so it all sings off the same hymn sheet to is type of thing is, is exponential, I think.
Absolutely. And the time you can reduce to find inefficiencies. So imagine a traditional supply chain model, right? Where you have 15 people involved, 15 human components involved, right? And then if you want to find a leak, you have to go through all those 15 points of contact in your process to figure out what went wrong, right? Which you would probably do the same thing in your AI workflow, right? The difference is that if it takes you 3 weeks to find the clog or a bleed in your process, with the AI automation workflow, wherever you can make it so that it works for your process, the inefficiencies can be found within 30 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Because AI doesn't work with a broken chain, right?
Mhm.
It works with a solid chain. So you put it together, but it's like you mentioned, right? It's something that when you use it, you start to understand the value of it more. And then you find these little intricacies that can help you run your business very, very efficiently.
Efficiency detection, like just what that concept where you explained then, yes, it makes it more efficient, but also the other end of it, being able to find the inefficiencies so much quicker saves a business so much money in the long run. Because like you said, then if it took 3 weeks to find that efficiency, you've got 3 weeks of inefficient processes that is going to be losing you money. Whereas now it's a double-edged sword. It makes you fight, makes your process more efficient, but also makes you be able to detect the inefficiencies like that and change it very quickly.
Right on. Exactly.
So, Ahmed, what would you say is working well inside Hoop Desk, and where do you still feel slight friction?
What's working well for us is our growth side of things. So when I say growth side, we started out as a franchise marketing. So we were doing all sorts of marketing to help you get more franchisees and help you get more like help your local stores grow. And eventually that's also part of growth because each franchisor makes a buck when in royalties when each of their stores do well. So we were doing that for the longest time. And then in the last year, we've started also developing franchises. So now we have our own sales team. So we already had the process figured out because we would engage with the franchisor. We will do all things considering in growing their franchise in terms of marketing only. And then all those leads development piece would go to a franchise consultant outside of Hoopdesk, whether it's the franchisor's own team or if they have an outside consultant that they're working with. So we brought that system in that we have a great franchise consulting team. So why not utilize it to actually develop franchises? So now when franchisors come, it's like, okay, so you will help me from building my landing page or a website to marketing to find franchisees and help me grow my local marketing and close more deals. And the answer is yes. And they find the yes to the answer a little bit surprising because no one else is doing it. So that's one piece. I think that's growing quite significantly. We've already grown in US and Canada, and we're launching next year in UAE, which is a great market. Also next year, we're launching in the Philippines, which is a great Southeast Asian market to launch out of in neighboring countries like Vietnam, Thailand, Indonesia, and that region. It's Malaysia. So that's where we're at in terms of growth. Like, what can we do better? I think we can have an even bigger team, and I think we could do even better with our automation systems. on the sales side of things.
Okay.
We could cut a lot of our time that we're spending on the phones that we don't need to for mundane stuff. I think we could do a little bit better on that. And we're working on it already. We're finding solutions that work better because we have a data of over 15,000 calls. Yeah. So we're evaluating that and saying, okay, well, our calls need to be more efficient. Or our consulting meetings it needs to be more efficient. And how can we, so we're reverse engineering it to see how
Mhm.
AI can help us further in closing these deals, getting the buyer qualified sooner than they are. And it cuts down the salespeople's time just speaking on the phone for asking general stuff, Also with buyer behavior, a lot of times, I think a lot of franchisees, when they come into a franchise system, just from an understanding of getting more knowledge, I feel and I'm seeing that they're not ready to talk to you either. They don't want to get on the phone and start talking to you about it. Some do, but majority of them are looking for information firsthand, and then if there is interest, then engage. I'm just talking on the buyer side of things. So if you're a franchise buyer and we want to leverage that, behavior because, okay, if you want to have a passive conversation, we love it too, because it's going to save all of us some time, right? So that's where we're working on that, how to automate our messaging and being able to answer questions that are some of the primary burning questions that a buyer may have. If we answer them very efficiently and quickly without getting on the phone, so one, we have answered their questions. Now if there is interest, the same automation system bring that lead back to it. So now it's a warm lead and now we can work with them.
Qualifying leads like that type of thing, it's just a high leverage qualification. Do you know what I mean? So when they're on the call, or by the time they get on the call, if they get on the call, they've already had a few touch points. So they're already, like you say, warmed up, ready, more and likely at a further state to convert as well. Are you talking about, when you're talking about being more efficient on the phone, are you talking about using AI to train your sales assistants to be more efficient, or are you talking about agent to speak to the lower?
The ladders, agent, voice and text, agent to respond to like initial general queries.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then when we see that, okay, well, this is a qualified lead, then we want to engage with them.
15,000 calls. You could definitely train a voice agent. You probably wouldn't even need all of them calls to be able to train them, because especially if it's answering sort of FAQs and just it's more of a qualification step, I would say, than anything else, because obviously you're just trying to qualify them to get them to say, yeah, actually, I want to learn more, to be able to get them on the phone call. So it's definitely something I think you should look into. It's definitely something that could be.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I know you're in that space, so you understand how the back end of those things work. And
Mhm.
yeah, we are seriously putting an effort to put that in place, because that's, as we grow, I mean, we're looking at handling about 30 to 40,000 inquiries every single year. And you can't just, it's inefficient to just put people on the phones and
Mhm.
it becomes very salesy. One of the things that we're in the space, we're not selling a $500 product or even a $50,000 product. There's two things we're basically selling, or we're helping clients do. We're helping build their portfolio for life. Many of them come to us with their lifetime savings, and they want to build something for their wife, for their child, or that will be the only business they'll ever buy and live off of it. So
Mhm.
it comes with a big responsibility and a big ask and a big price tag. Every single franchise averages about $400,000 to $500,000, right? You don't do that every day in your life. So we're very attuned to that. We understand that the ask that there is, and is more on information selling. Most of the time, we're not even selling. We don't need to sell, because people actually understand that in order to transform their lives or make a good change, if they're unhappy with their 9 to 5, or if they have been in 9 to 5 all their life, they don't want their children to be. The wife doesn't want to work anymore and wants to do something of her own, and you have built some equity. There are not many vehicles out there that gives you ROI based income, right? So you have
Yeah.
to invest. Now, you invest in markets, you invest in real estate, or you invest in business. So when you invest in business, especially Canada being the largest franchise sector,
Mhm.
because we as Canadians are super risk averse, right? We rather buy something that's already working and work with it, even if the ROI is a little bit less. So when you're looking at buying a business or getting into a business, I think the first thing people look at is, okay, what franchise can I buy?
Like you said, you don't have to fall down and 10 times before you find a working vehicle. The vehicle's already working. It's there. You've just got to run it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Cuts down your hustle and puts your time in a very efficient manner. Money aside, the time is you can start compounding it very quickly and own more than one. So many
Mm,
buyers actually become multi-unit owners
yeah. Yeah.
over
And you
time.
can,
Yeah,
you can make more money, but it's very harder to make more time. And you can't be here for any longer than what's already pre-written.
right on, my friend. Yeah, I agree.
So Ahmed, walk me through how you gain clients. So how do you reach out to clients and get them prospecting on the phone?
Offer. You have to have a great offer. If you do not have a great offer, spend a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or a year. Come up with a great offer and come up with a genuine great offer. And so, one of the things that worked for us, or it's still working, so we came up with this program called Franchise Flow. So, and I would like to call ourselves disruptors, but we're technically not. We're just using common sense. So, in the franchising space, you go out in the US or in Canada, two big markets. You go out there and then you talk to franchise consulting companies. There's always an upfront retainer or upfront cost of doing this, 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 and this. And then closing costs to help you sell your brand, so on and so forth. And I work with a lot of emerging brands, and I realize a lot of these franchises don't have the appetite to do that. Even if they did, it doesn't make sense business wise. It doesn't make sense, right? Why it doesn't make sense is I'm not against brokerage services. We are also a brokerage, like the sales
Mhm.
part of it. But what we really put out there from our side, we said, well, let's just be partners with these franchisors, because many franchisors struggle with growing because they cannot just throw thousands of dollars at it and say, "Whoa, help me find a franchisee," because it doesn't happen. And I've learned that working with consultant after consultant after consultant, they don't want to work at their own. They don't want to put in their own like the word that I can't really think of right now is their own sweat equity.
Yeah.
So if you, let's say you're an ABC restaurant, right? You want to grow across Canada. So, and you work with a franchise consultant, they're going to be like, okay, yeah, I'm going to work with you. I'm going to charge you 50, 60% of your franchise fee when I'm closing the deal, sometimes 100%. I'm going to close it for you, but hey, give me something up front so I can go find leads for you. And it makes me think, so, so maybe what's the difference in me being hiring a franchise consultant myself in my own
Mhm.
team? If I'm going to spend on leads, if I'm going to go find out people who are interested in buying, might as well do it all by myself. That's the dichotomy there. So we sat down and we're like, no, let's partner with franchisors because that's the model that works for us and we make it work. We spend marketing dollars for our clients at many times. Our clients, we're putting money up front. We're investing in their brand from our own
Mhm.
marketing dollars so we can get qualified franchisees and we can close for them. When we close a deal, we're partners with them. So that's one of the biggest offers that we have come out there. It's called the dollar a day franchise growth engine. Now, the dollar a day pays for nothing, but it shows commitment, right? So if you are willing to spend $1 a day for your franchise concept, then we can work together. Then we'll help promote. And
Mhm.
that's what we've been doing. We do have other systems as well where we can accelerate sales quite significantly. We have been, knock on wood, we have worked with some really awesome brands. We brought them from US to Canada, vice versa. We
Mhm.
recently partnered with the brand with Walmart in the US. We're
Mhm.
exponentially growing them for over 600 locations and so on and so forth. But offer. So to answer your question, if you really want to make things work, I mean, in the marketing space, and that it's a no-brainer. Come up with an offer where people can comfortably sit with you and work with you. That's my belief, and that's what's working.
Having skin in the game definitely makes everybody feel more comfortable. You know what I mean?
Mm,
If you've got as much skin in the game as the client, then the client feels, oh, people are working as a collaborative. I feel like you're here on the money there. Do you know what I mean? It makes everybody feel more comfortable. And it feels like this guy's gonna work for me. He's gonna work for my company, not work under my company, but he's going to do the work to get my company off the ground, to get the
yeah,
results that I desire. So yeah, I think you're definitely on the money there.
yeah.
So Ahmed, last two questions. Where do you want to be in the next 12 to 18 months in terms of business?
I really want to see some of my brands and some new brands in UAE. I really want to see that. Next 12, 18 months, focused effort there. We're coming out with our own platform next year as well. So I don't know what my next year is gonna look like. So this year was a little slow for me. I had a little one, so a brand
Oh,
new baby. That was,
congratulations.
yeah, thanks, man. Well, it'll be in January. He's gonna be 1 year old. So he's still going through the diapers, but he's not the tiny baby anymore. So finding that I'm getting a little bit more time on my hands. So those are the two goals, really. The platform we're coming out with is a all integrated marketing slash ordering platform for restaurants. So we're
Uh,
working on that. It's going to come out next year. And the big one is launching franchise concepts in UAE, because Dubai is specifically, it's growing by 2030. The population is going to be doubling up. It's happening by design. The development. I go there every 6 months. I see the landscape. So that's the two goals. And obviously grow our franchise flow program that we're already growing. It's actually on growing mode already. So the more induction happens, I think one of the challenges that I mentioned earlier was having more automation on the sales side of things. And if we achieve that, I would feel pretty accomplished by the end of 2026.
seems to be the place to be at the moment for business in general, let alone everything
Yes.
else as well. Like it's growing like by design, like you said, but everyone is flooding to there for business
Yes.
sense. Do you know what I mean? So I feel like it's kind of like selling shovels in the gold rush. Do you know what I mean, to be able to get in there and not just to open franchises in there would then serve the growing people that go in there to open up businesses and things like that. So I feel like it's definitely a good idea, that would be. So my last question, Ahmed, is if you could fix one bottleneck in your business, if you could have a magic wand and fix one bottleneck in your business, what would it be and why?
One bottleneck in business. There are a few, so I have to give you one good one. I think of response time,
Mm,
including me. That includes me.
yeah.
I think with the amount of inquiries that we've been getting, I think we can be more efficient in responding. And then again, I will lean on to AI. Some things you can do that are humanly possible. Some things you can do that are humanly possible, but you don't want to do it because that's not worth your time,
Yeah.
you know? So today, in this day and age, you can say that. You can actually have that leverage, right? That no, I don't want to spend my time specifically on this task because something can take care of this instead of someone can take care of this and
Uh,
increasing cost. So big proponent of that. That's the bottom. I think a lot of I used to be the biggest bottleneck in the company,
mm,
as much as efficient I am, I'm also lazy when I need to be for a lot of things. So we made a considerable amount of changes. I got three great, amazing, lovely people in my team who came in and literally showed me how things were just not getting done or were sitting up the ladder for a decision to be made that I was supposed to make, which I should have. And for any reason, one reason or another, I didn't. And it just delayed things.
mm,
So that's another thing that people need to understand. AI is a godsend for you if you use it logically and efficiently. However, don't forget the team you've got. Give them these tools. If you really are serious about growing your business, you have to have good systems in place, which is general. You have to
mm,
have it. You needed to have it in 90s in 2025. It's the same thing.
mm.
Now you have AI as a sort of a blanket over it that can help you be more efficient. But don't forget your people. Always make sure that if you can find someone smarter than you, get them in next day or same day. Just get them in. Don't You will not believe, Stefan, and I'm sure you do. You talk to a lot of entrepreneurs. I will tell you this, man. 60 to 70% are gung ho about their stupid ego. I
Yeah.
apologize for my language, but
No,
believe
it's
you me,
fine.
man. Many times I'm like, don't do it. You're not good at it. Find somebody good at it and let them do it and see how quickly it scales for you. So this happened a lot in the last 2 years. I gave up so much of my bottleneck related decision making to
Mm,
my team. Believe me, I mean, they're better decision makers than me in a lot of things. And for me, it's like, great, it's off my plate. I am
yeah.
not the one holding anybody up, you
Hmm.
know? Suddenly I have extra 2 hours in my day that I can play with my child. I could do whatever I want, or I could work on more important stuff that I need to work on.
Important things is delegation, like you're saying there, but also systems. Systems they're not there to replace people. They're there to make people more efficient. That's how I kind of look at it. And they're able to
Yeah.
then, it's like a force multiplier then. If you're a team of four working with our system, if you put a system in place, that team of four can do it so much more and they can drive their business so much further.
Force multiplier. That's my key takeaway, man, from this call. That's a beautiful keyword. It makes total sense.
Mhm.
Total sense.
Okay, Ahmad, well, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your insights into Hoop Desk. I thought you've had great podcasts and insight into the franchise space as well. That I learned a lot from this call. So thank you for coming on and educating me and everybody else. Where can my viewers and listeners reach out to you, find you, or get hold of Hoop Desk? If other people that might be thinking about starting a franchise in Canada or USA, where can they reach out?
You can go on our website. It's hoopdesk, hoopdesk.com or .ca. So both of those domains work. That's one of the good places to go. Call me. My number is 587-318-0118. Call me. Even if you just think that you want to do something with your life in business and you don't know if you even should buy a franchise or what do you need to get ready next year, I will spend my time with you. I was helped. One thing I want to say before we end this podcast, one thing that I am extremely grateful of is from my hot dog days, the Polish guy Richard, I still remember him, the guy who helped me with costing one hot dog, the condiments, the buns, what it takes to make $1.25 out of each hot dog. I thank that guy. And through the 15, 16 years journey till this day, and you included, Span, be grateful for people who have come into your business journey. And if you have seen them giving their time to you, not money, no gifts, none of that, nothing materialistic. If they have even as simple as given 5 minutes of their time to you and you got something out of it, give it back, man. Give back your time. And that's what I do. I don't mind being on calls. I don't care if the guy is going to buy or not. I care about what they want to say. What's their side of the story? And if we can help them. So if you sit with that mindset every single day, a lot of the stuff, the mumbo jumbo that goes throughout the day feels more purposeful, more real, and makes you feel more grounded. You on the other side and me here, somehow, some way, we have come to a point where we have been able to build something for ourselves. But if you look at it, man, there are so many people that you have, rubbed shoulders with that have got you here. And if you can also be the same vehicle for the next guy in, be it, man. Like you will always make money. You will always make moments. You will always make everything you put in effort to, it's going to be successful. Effort never goes to waste. But the relationships, the network, the time you will spend with people, sharing your knowledge, man, that trust you cannot get anywhere else. So that's my takeaway. Like that's something that I would say every entrepreneur should be grateful of people's time and give your time. Whether sometimes on LinkedIn, man, like a lot of people, marketing agencies, other agencies, AI-based agencies, marketers in general, franchise consultants, they would come to me and say, "Hey, you're doing something incredible. How are you doing it?" I give them a meeting link. Book a time with me. Let's talk for 30 minutes. I don't care if this is not a business deal all the time. If I can give you some information that can be helpful, if I can get some information that's helpful for me, that's a great exchange. So always be open for that, I would say.
The pearls of wisdom there from Ahmed. Everybody take note. And please like, comment, subscribe to the video, to the podcast, send it to a friend, especially if they're looking to get into franchising. I feel like this video will be very, very,
Right on.
thank you very much. And I'll speak to you soon.
Okay.